From. So Gary McAllister, Jamie Redknapp, Richard Keys will be seated up there before a game. On that side is the Anfield Road end. 3,008 seats are allocated to away supporters. We ensure that the away supporters can fill that allocation, but the small clubs may not do it. The European games can fill that allocation easily with away fans. Games against Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, fill those easily. But the smaller clubs may not necessarily do so. So if there is any left of that allocation, it goes on general sale to ensure that the stadium is full on a match day. So that will be the lower left-hand corner. It will be separated by this big Adidas netting to separate the away supporters from the home supporters. That upper tier was added in 1997. That side is the most famous part of our stadium. That is the Kop. And we're going to give you the history on why we called that end the Kop. That is where a lot of most passionate supporters would sit. And that is probably the most famous part of the stadium. But we're going to end our tour there, guys, so you got that to look forward to as well, yeah? The entire capacity of the stadium is what exactly?
45,522, let's not forget the 22.
Let's not forget the 22. In total capacity, how many have we got on our waiting list?
93,000.
Oh my God.
So bad news if you're on that list, guys. Hey?
Some of us are. We have over 90,000 people on a season ticket waiting list. Some people have been waiting 10 years for their season tickets. Some have been waiting 14 years for their season tickets.
We'll be waiting 800 years.
We'll be waiting a while, yeah, definitely. It just goes to show how big and how global the club is. And we also know that this stadium is too small now. It's way too small. Oh, it's too small 20 years ago. Just imagine how small it is for us now. So the plans on building a new stadium are just a few hundred meters beyond the Anfield Road end in Stanley Park. Plans to build a 61 to 63 capacity stadium. Planning permission is all that it is at the moment. We all know the club is up for sale. We all know we're waiting on investment. Somebody that can have a spare billion quid can help us. And that's what I mean, they need a spare billion quid. Okay? But the stadium will get built eventually. We will get built eventually because we know we need to move and we need to keep up with those clubs. Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, now Spurs, now there's Manchester City. There's no more Big Four no more. No Big Four no more. That line is slowly disappearing because the game is getting a lot more corporate than it ever has been now. Clubs rely on corporate hospitality and executive boxes to be sold out every season in order to make a majority of their money. Those boxes cost £60,000 each for a season. There's a waiting list for 3 years for one of those boxes. But there are only 30. Arsenal have nearly 200. Chelsea have nearly 200. Man United have nearly 200 of those boxes. So they make a lot more money on a match day than we do. And when I mean a lot more, millions more.
Everton only have 11.
Yeah. So it only goes to show how desperate we are to build a new stadium. And it will eventually happen. It will eventually happen. But we know in order to catch up and move with the times, the way the direction football's going, we need to do that. We have to do that. Get more corporate boxes. And we only allocate, I think, 28,000 seats in the stadium for season ticket holders. So we need a bigger stadium again to increase that allocation. You looked around you, you've seen what this area is like. Those of you that are not local, you see that we're in a very poor area. One of the poorest. With that new stadium being built, it regenerates the city. It helps the local economy. People will get jobs. The kids will be off the streets. Yeah, there'll be things for them to do. There'll be hotels, there'll be bars, there'll be restaurants. So it will increase the economy. And again, I'll always like to say that our neighbours across the road, across the park, shall I say, Everton, when they eventually get around to it, they need to build a new stadium. Because if they have a new stadium, we have a new stadium, it increases Liverpool's economy, the city's economy, because we have high unemployment. And we do have a few economical problems, and that would all be fixed with new stadiums, believe it or not. So as the longer that we are actually here in this stadium, the area is suffering. the area is actually suffering. We need to build a new stadium as soon as possible. The regeneration is very important in our city, and it's very important in any city, regeneration. People getting jobs, getting the kids off the streets. Okay? Has anybody got any questions? In a few years, there'll be no more Anfield. This will be gone. When that new stadium gets built, this will be no longer here. But that green space will remain. Because over the years, every week at 11:30 on a Thursday, lifelong Liverpool fans' dying wish is to have their ashes scattered